Good day everyone. We are going to tackle about the anthropometry, portrait parle, DNA printing, forensic serology, forensic odontology, and forensic anthropology. Anthropometry, the first system of identification. It began in 1890 and lasted approximately 20 years before being replaced by fingerprint identification. It was designed by Alphonse Bertillon. Louis Bertillon is the father of Alphonse, a French physician and anthropologist, influenced Alphonse's knowledge and interest in the human skeletal system. 1879, Louis helped Alphonse secure a job as a clerk with Parisian police, and he began to focus his research on the difficulty of identifying repeat offenders. 1879, Alfonso Bertillon proposed a method of identification using anthropological body measurement. In 1882, with the help of his father, he was successfully developed and implement anthropometry. So what is anthropometry system? Anthropometry system consisted of using calipers and other measuring devices to take 11 specific body dimensions. Alphonse took each measurement 3 times and recorded average of the three on his card files. I find it very interesting that Bertillon age included probability calculations that long ago it was determined and that the odds for any two men would be 1:4. Thus, the chances of two men having the same height and same foot size, for example, would be 1:4 by 4. The chances for all 11 measurements being shared between two individuals would be 1:4 over 11, or 1:4 194304. At a time when the population was considerably smaller, this would be indeed be very compelling evidence for identification. In addition, Alphonse recorded physical descriptors of the person, such as hair and eye color, including the unusual markings of the body, such as tattoos and scars, known as portrait parle, or a speaking portrait that described many personal characteristics. Lastly, he included frontal and side view photographs, which we recognize today as mug shots. 1884, Bertillon's system was able to identify 241 recidivists. 1888, Alphonse Bertillon was promoted to head a newly formed Department of Judicial Identity of the Paris Police. Due to its success, anthropometry is spread throughout the world. 1887, United States adopting it, and 1894, Great Britain adopting its system. 1902, he was the first European to solve a murder cipher case using fingerprinting. 1894, significant errors in the Dreyfus case. 1903, Will and William West case. And 1911, the theft of the Mona Lisa painting, largely contributed to the demise of anthropometry and wide acceptance of fingerprinting. Portrait parle, or spoken portrait, it is a French word, means speaking likeness. Can be defined as a rigorous system for verbal description of physical characteristic of the subject. In order to recognize individuals who were repeatedly arrested, Bertillon developed means by which portraits could be sorted by common morphological characteristics. the specific parts of the face. History of Portrait Parle in 1882. Alfonso Bertillon, also known as father of scientific detection, said that anthropology could be invoked to aid in the sight, recognition, and identification of criminals. His classification provided a basis for modern recall system that would aid the artist in producing sketch as well as the development of composite kits, catalog, and computer system. Originally, he meant for the catalog to be an identification aid for recognition of local prisoners, but later it was found to be useful for obtaining description of unknown suspects also. Advancement of Bertillonage. Anthropometric system made it possible to distinguish between two distinct individuals. Bertillon designed an incremental physical description card, or also called Bertillon card, comprising of four areas. Anthropometry appealed enhanced by defining topological description of ear, nose, and iris. An incremental is a detailed physical description method which form the basis of portrait parle. DNA fingerprinting. DNA fingerprinting. 1960s, DNA satellites were first identified by biologists. There are two types of satellites. One is microsatellites, or simple sequence repeats, or SSR, are made of repeating units of nucleotides, each repeat ranging from 2 to 6 base pairs long. Two is the mini-satellite, or variable tandem repeats, or VNTR. The repeating units range from 10 to 100 base pairs. Characteristic of micro and mini satellites that makes them useful for identification purpose is that they are highly polymorphic. They can vary significantly in length from person to person. Restriction enzymes based fingerprinting. Jeffrey's original procedure, restriction fragment length based DNA fingerprinting, or the RFLP analysis, is relatively straightforward. A restriction enzyme is used to cut DNA at specific points, yielding fragments of varying lengths. These clipped pieces of DNA are then subjected to gel electrophoresis to separate them based on size and finally visualized by Southern blotting. When genomic DNA is cleaved with particular restriction enzymes, the resulting fragments can contain a mini-satellite or VNTR region. When enough loci are examined, each person's DNA will yield a unique bonding pattern and his or her unique DNA fingerprinting. PCR-based fingerprinting. In 1983, breast cancer detection, DNA fingerprinting will be used to identify renegade cancerous cells and has been shown to be useful in assessing a cancer survivor's likelihood or relapse. Other biological applications. Humans are not only creatures who can be fingerprinted. Anything with DNA or RNA genome, including animals, plants, bacteria, and viruses, can be fingerprinted in the same way. Crime and punishment. In 1990, FBI created a national DNA data bank known as CODIS. The most common use of DNA evidence in courts is to help positively identify rapist or murderer. Fingerprints can also be made using DNA in urine, saliva, or any number of other bodily sources. Paternity is determined by assessing whether it would be possible for the child to have inherited the combination of bonds in their DNA fingerprint from the alleged father and mother. With DNA fingerprinting, investigators have been able to re-examine evidences from old cases leading to the arrest of violent killers and rapists who would have otherwise gone free. Forensic serology is application of study of blood, semen, saliva, and other body fluids to legal matters. Field comprised of detection of enzymes and antigens as in the identification of animal stains or blood typing and DNA typing. Serology section of forensic laboratory may deal with blood typing, characterization of unknown stains, blood spatter analysis for crime reconstruction, paternity test, semen identification, DNA typing for identification of victims and suspects. Forensic odontology is a proper handling, examination, and evaluation of dental evidences which will be presented in the interest of justice. The evidence that may be derived from the teeth, the age in children, and identification of the person whom the teeth may belong. Historical background. It began with Agrippina and Lolia Pauline case. It was the first use of dental identification where there is a record. The first forensic identification in India started in where Jai Chand, a great Indian monarchy, was destroyed by Muhammad's army and Jai Chand, Raja of Kanawiji, was murdered and he was identified by his false teeth. Peter Halket was killed during French and Indian War. Halket's son identified his father's skeleton by an artificial tooth. Forensic anthropology is a special subfield of physical anthropology, the study of human remains, that involves applying skeletal analysis and techniques in archaeology to solving criminal cases. When human remains or suspected burial are found, forensic anthropologists are called upon to gather information from the bones and their recovery context to determine who died, how they died, and how long ago they died. Forensic anthropologists specialize in analyzing hard tissues such as bones. With their training in archaeology, they are also knowledgeable about excavating buried remains and meticulously recording the evidence